once a mother was waking up her son early in the morning. Son, get up, you need to go to the college. And the son wasn't willing to get up, and the son was saying, I don't want to go to the college. And the mother was insisting, as every mother is. And the son said, tell me 2 reasons why I should go to the college, because I have 2 reasons why I don't want to go to the college. The first reason is all the teachers hate me. The second reason is that all the students hate me. Therefore, I don't want to go to the college. And the mother, she said, my first reason for you to go to the college is that your age is 52, not 25. And second, you are the principal of the college. And often when we come into leadership position, people start to hate us. People start to fear us. We exactly don't know, are they being inspired by us, or are we just pushing our dreams, our goals into their mouths. Once at a meeting like this, a board meeting, the boss, the leader, cracked a joke. And everybody was laughing, but one guy was not laughing. So the boss said, what happened? You didn't like the joke? Said, no sir, I retired yesterday. And because I retired yesterday, I don't have to keep obeying all the things that you are telling me. And most of the times, even in religious institutions or educational institutions or medical institutions, those people that come into management, those people that start becoming the administrators, they usually don't have an administrative background. They usually come into education because they are professors, teachers. How many of you here are professors here? Teachers, you teach at your college. And later, as we start to do well at the school, at the college, we are put into this post of actually handling people. Earlier, you had to explain the text. Now you have to first understand the context, that why is this person behaving this way, and accordingly find the solutions. And when hate starts to come on us, and we also start to hate people because they just don't listen to us, right? Except us, nobody else wants to hear us. And this way, all the hate becomes a very deadly disease, which is called as HIV, hate in the veins. And when there is hate in the veins, how can you actually lead? How can you actually inspire someone? And therefore, for someone to be successful and happy, one needs to be an entrepreneur of 3 industries, 3 companies, 3 factories. The first is a sugar factory in his mouth. मीठा बोलना पड़ता है या सीखना पड़ेगा. The second is a ice factory in the head. No matter how much people abuse you or put blames upon you, don't flare up. And the third is a love factory in the heart. So 3 factories: ice, sugar, and love. And when these 3 factories are there in our life, then our life becomes satisfactory. And to make our life satisfactory and also to able to give others, because if we are not happy, we can't give others happiness. If we don't have stability, if we don't have direction in life, if we ourselves are hopeless, don't have much to gain from life, how can we give something positive to the next generation whom we are trying to lead? So when I came across the title, The Future of Work, for this conference, I thought for most people, future of work is retirement. That they only are working so that they can retire. When I was studying at IIT Bombay, we had a hostel 6. And in this hostel, they had come up with a nice t-shirt. One student is running to go to the classes, and another student is sleeping, and that sleeping student asked him, "Where are you running?" He said, "I am going to run to the college to attend the classes, and if I attend the classes, I will get good marks. If I get good marks, I will get a good job. If I get good job, I will get good money. If I get good money, I can go on nice vacation. And when I go on a nice vacation, I can sleep peacefully." And this man, this friend of his said, "Well, that's what I am doing already. कि मैं अभी से वही कर रहा हूँ." And everyone in life, no matter who is all wanting to work on numbers. Maths is about numbers. Life is also so many times about numbers. Therefore, they say everyone wants a 7-digit bank balance. You want in crores, a 6-digit salary, a 5 BHK home, 5-bedroom house, a 4-wheeler, at least a plush one, and a 3-month vacation. I am sure most of the colleges may not have 3-month vacation, and 2 intelligent, cute looking kids, and 1 mute wife or husband. And then people think, if I have this from 7 to 1, then my life can be having 0 worries. But you can't, and our whole life goes in adjusting from 7 to 1. Either the wife is not quiet or the boss is not quiet. And if you try to keep both quiet, then something else pops up into your life. So when all this negativity comes up, how do we deal with it? This is what I wanted to convey today. And the future of leadership, the future of the next generations is when we are able to help ourselves go ahead, because you can only give what you have, and if you don't have satisfaction and direction, you won't be able to give to the next generation. Recently, one of my old Apple laptops conked off. It crashed. And then I tried to figure out why did it crash, because everything was going well. And then I figured out something, I brought it, that the charger that I had, you see this, there are 2 types of chargers. Everyone knows this is a mobile charger and this is a laptop charger. Now this has this one more plug here. Everyone knows what is this plug? The grounding. And although I am from IIT Bombay, I thought ठीक है, थोड़ा सा करंट लगता है कंप्यूटर को, या जब छूते तो क्या चलता है, because you can't go and fix the whole thing. And I kept working with a unearthed laptop. And after a while, my laptop blew, because when the negative ions, when the negative electrons come more than it can handle, then what happens? That system breaks down. Even biggest of the buildings, if they don't have grounding, then the building can crack any time because of the thunderbolts. Yes, for small things like mobiles, we may not need, but bigger things in life, when we want to have it, then we definitely need to ground ourselves. And if we don't ground ourselves, then when negative situations come and things go beyond our control, we lose balance. And when we lose balance, that's when we start to panic. And I'm sure most of you have been sitting here for a while, and tightrope walk is an amazing way to learn leadership, learn about life. I just want you to all stand up. I want all of you to do a tightrope walk, something like that. Can all of you stand up? And just have a stretch, just so that you feel more relaxed. Have a stretch, good stretch. Now, we are not going to have a rope or anything, but I want all of you to lift one of your legs and stand on one leg, and let's see who stands the longest. I am not going to give you any prize or any punishment. Okay, so most of you are very good at it. You are all yogis doing a lot of, but there is one more thing. Now, again we will do the experiment, do the exercise, but with your eyes closed. Can you do it with your eyes closed? I see more disturbances than when your eyes were open. Please sit down. There's a very wonderful lesson here. Did all of you notice that when your eyes were closed, it was difficult to balance? And this is what life is. When we don't have direction, when we don't have vision, then it becomes very difficult in our life to balance things. And therefore, a life without vision, without examination, often becomes very difficult to lead. And when we get something like a responsibility, a leadership post, it becomes all the more tough because that's one more burden. Actually, that burden, that rope that is there, that stick that is there, is supposed to help us to actually walk better. But if you don't handle it better, that becomes a burden, and that burden most of the times imbalances. So what is this imbalance I am speaking about? What actually is the imbalance that we are seeing? The imbalance between masculine energy and feminine energy. All of us need both these aspects in our life to be able to feel balanced. The balance between being active in life and being still in life. Most of us are active almost 24 hours a day. Even when we are sleeping, the brain is still active, right? And most of us nowadays, we get all these gadgets that can actually measure our sleep. And if you see the sleep patterns, we don't sleep well because we are not able to bring back the system to total zero. And because we are not able to bring back the system to total zero, we are not able to come to 100%. And there is also a great imbalance between spending time with people and spending time with yourself. Nowadays, because of the social media, we are becoming more unsocial than before. Social media is a misnomer. It should be said as unsocial media. And this phenomena of being imbalanced, how can we correct it? And if we are not able to balance ourselves, then it is very difficult for us to help anybody else to find that balance. So therefore, science is organized knowledge. When you organize knowledge, it becomes science. And wisdom is organized life. When you fix your life into proper purpose and proper direction, that's what becomes wisdom. And when we don't have the proper vision, then we often neglect those things that are actually quite beautiful. Now, this was a social experiment done. I don't know if you know this guy from Bollywood. Any guesses? Who is he? Sonu Nigam. So Sonu Nigam, he did a social experiment where he dressed as a beggar. He just sat on the footpath and was singing the same songs he usually sings in the studios, Bollywood studios. But hardly anybody paid notice. Same experiment was done by Joshua Bell in UK. Nobody paid any notice because in the fast pace of life, we miss the simple and beautiful things of life. That's what I said. Leadership is about balancing both masculine and feminine energies that we have. And to help us, I am proposing a solution that is there being practiced since ages in India. And all of you must have heard this word dharma, right? Dharma means religion, dharma means a particular set of rules or regulations. But actually dharma comes from this word dharayati, that which holds. And if you don't understand that dharma well, then whatever ship we have, whatever relationship, they all start to sink. Our own life starts to go into a mess. That's why I named this seminar as Saving the Titanic, because Titanic was well built, but somewhere down the line, the captain, he started to neglect. In fact, the main reason why the captain was neglecting, because that trip of his was his last trip, because after he went to New York, he was supposed to get retired. So the company said, you just take this trip within 6 days, and once you are there, you don't have to come back, and everything is paid off for you. So therefore he was in a hurry, and at the same time there was another ship, Olympus, that was also traveling towards North America, and there was a competition. And in the competition, Titanic wanted to exceed, therefore it was going at much higher speed than it is supposed to. And even when he got to see that the icebergs are close by, because of that great competitive spirit wanting to prove himself he is the best, he neglected, and that's how things got off balance, and the whole movie and the story is there. So dharma is that thing that can hold our position, our life, anything. And if somebody doesn't understand this, and he can still be a leader, but he cannot be a impactful leader. Somebody can be a mother, but she cannot be a impactful mother. Somebody can be a student, but he cannot be a impactful student. And if we can understand these 4 pillars of dharma and start to practice them, try to prioritize them in our policy makings with students and try to emphasize them, we will be able to get a better India as our Prime Minister and the whole country wants. The first pillar of dharma, in Sanskrit the word is daya, but in English, in common parlance, I call it as being sensitive. If a person, after he gets the knowledge, after he becomes knowledgeable, if he is not coming closer to people, if he is going into his own shell, his own profits and his own desires, then that knowledge is not actually wisdom. That knowledge is increasing more and more is ego. But if a person starts to becoming more and more concerned about the lives of others, that is one of the pillars of dharma, which is called as daya, sensitivity. Once the Queen of England, she had invited the King of Africa, a tribal person, and they were all sitting in a big banquet, maybe something like Grand Chola's banquet. And when everyone was sitting, she hosted a grand feast, the Queen of England. And all of them were having all the different delicacies that were coming. And at the end, usually as happens in most elite places, they bring you a hot water with lemon in it, the finger bowl. And as soon as this item came, he didn't know what it was. Like it is said, once a South Indian, once a foreigner, he had visited South India. And after he ate the whole meal, the hotel owner asked him, "So how was the meal, sir?" He said, "The meal was very good, but the salad was bitter." Because the banana leaf, he thought it was salad, and he ate it off. So this King of Africa, he didn't know what is he supposed to do with this finger bowl, with this water. So he took that and he started to drink. and as any allied place, it is supposed to just wash off your hands and just keep it aside. You are not supposed to drink that. And all the ministers, all the viceroys that were sitting along with the Queen of England, all their mouths started to open up. Say today, if somebody starts to sit on the tables and eat, and one of the, say, chiefs here comes and sits on the floor here and starts to eat with his hands, especially in the South Indian style like this, then it will be quite awkward. And same response was from all the ministers, that they were feeling, what is this? This is not cultural. But the Queen of England, she was very sensitive. She thought we hosted him because we wanted to bring our relationship closer, and because of this finger bowl, and if he feels embarrassed, he will go away. So she also lifted her finger bowl and started to drink the water. And when she started to drink the water, usually finger bowl, it's all your own stuff, and sometimes people also clean their nose or something. So all these ministers were now caught. What should they do? Should they drink or not drink? And because the Queen was drinking, if they don't drink, their jobs will be gone. So they all lifted their finger bowls and they started to drink. Now this is what is sensitivity, being concerned about the other person's welfare more than one's own welfare. And unfortunately today, the more somebody becomes educated, the more he starts to becoming insensitive towards others' feelings and sufferings. And the Facebook and all the social media is not helping it. The more and more the generation is becoming me generation, what's in it for me, what can I get from me. Once a girlfriend decided to break up with his boyfriend, and she said, I think our relationship is not working anymore, we should call it off. And they were sitting in a hotel, and the boyfriend was broken hearted, said, how can we end this relationship like this? But the girl was decided, that's it, I am going to end. And immediately the boyfriend called to the waiter and said, Bhaiya, dono ka bill alag alag leke aana. Can you bring both of the bills separately? Immediately the girl, she said, Arey pagle, main to mazak kar rahi thi. I was only joking. Because in today's generation, if somebody can do me some profit, some benefit, I'll be with him. But the day I don't have anything to do with him, then I just discard him. And we have to see how we can inculcate this culture of sensitivity, this sense of belonging in our education system. And when the more this is there, the more society can prosper. In most communities in North India, like Marwadi or Gujarati communities, they have a strong community feeling that any one of their community members, if he becomes bankrupt or is going down, the whole other community comes together to support him. But there are also communities which are crow-like. Anytime a crow gets hurt, kawa, all the other crows actually come and destroy him more, because they think that there is some danger, that there is some evil, he should be killed. And same with the scorpions. The scorpions, when they are caught, they are put in a basket without any lid, because once one scorpion tries to go up, all other scorpions, they actually pull him down. And because of this lack of sensitivity, there is so much trouble in this world. This is one, the child, her own child, she is keeping him down, and she is just into the social media. And this is not one thing, there is another very viral photo where a guy is taking a selfie with a dead body. I didn't put up here because it is very gross. Sensitivity is also not just to people, but also to the environment around us. in our policies, in our technology, is it harming harming the ecology, or is it prospering the ecology? And also sensitivity towards animals. PETA is all of these organizations. So cultivating sensitivity. Second principle that actually is a foundational pillar for dharma is being honest. The principle of honesty cannot be enough emphasized. And now, because of this mad rush towards wanting to achieve, we all want to imitate somebody else, although it may not be our nature. There is a story of a donkey and a dog told in our Niti Shastras, that there was a dog and a donkey in a house, they were pets. And one day the thieves attacked, and when the thieves came in, the dog started to bark. And when the dog started to bark, the owners got up immediately, they found out the thieves have come, and they rescued their property from the thieves, and the dog got lot of shabashi. The dog was awarded, it was given special sweets, and the whole neighborhood thanked the dog for saving them from thieves. But the donkey became insecure, that all the praise is to the dog just because it barked. So tomorrow night I am going to bark. So next day, when the thieves again tried to attack, the donkey started to bark. And you know, donkey barking, donkey honking, it is not a sweet sound. So the neighbor, the owner, he didn't think that kya ye. He just got up and he thrashed the donkey. And the donkey became even more disturbed, that first of all I didn't get any praise, second I have been thrashed thoroughly, and the dog was honored, because the donkey was trying to imitate the dog, because what the donkey can do, the dog can't do. Dog does lot of barking, lot of talking, and the donkey does lot of weightlifting. वो रोज लेके जाता है ना कपड़े को. So what the donkey can do, the dog can't do. What the dog can do, the donkey cannot do. Each one has his own unique way in which he can contribute his area. And when this honesty is undermined, when this understanding that what God has given me is enough for me to lead a wholesome life, then we try to imitate others. And this is not just in cheating that you may see in colleges across, but even at the national level, all the money that's there in the Swiss banks, what is it? The cost of dishonesty for India is 70 lakh crores in just in one of the Swiss banks. And what to speak of just few days back, the whole Facebook scandal, all the data that was ours was given to one company for election purposes, and then few days back the cricket scandal, that the Australian cricket scandal. So without following these principles, we may get to a stage like the Titanic, but without this, they'll break it up. The third principle, pillar for dharma, for our life to be a sustainable life, is cultivating independently thoughtful individuals. We should not be overly dependent on some system, some set of rules and regulations for us to lead a wholesome life. And these independently thoughtful entities, we are not generating now, because most youth, they just want to follow the herd. Where is everyone going? Everyone is going towards engineering. Therefore, they say nowadays the syllabus, if it is 80 GB, what the students understand is only 80 MB, and what they can repeat is only 80 KB. And in such a system, how can they actually go beyond their marks level? And first of all, because they are not honest to their needs and what they want in life, they are just trying to get somebody else's success formula. But when somebody tries to be independently capable, that's why in the Vedic system there was no unemployment. Everybody was taught to be independently sustainable. And when this independency is lost to some chemicals like intoxication or drugs, it is a mass phenomena. Most students, especially in Bombay, it's a big way by which students become totally dependent on this. More than the chemical dependency, that which is actually harming the whole generations is the mobile dependency. It starts with magic. It appears to be very magical. You can do anything and everything. Then you start to get addicted. It becomes manic. You got so engrossed with it, and soon it starts to become toxic. So therefore, it is said today that behind every successful man there is a woman, and behind every unsuccessful man also there is a woman. But there is another saying, behind every successful student there is a deactivated Facebook account. Unless the person just cuts off from all the distractions, especially because of the social media, we have become literally slaves of this whole mobile addiction, and it is said to be giving out same types of responses, neural responses, as somebody gets from any kind of addiction. And if you are not able to use the technology but become used by the technology, then we are not becoming independent. We are actually becoming more and more dependent. Therefore, there is a nice quote about detachment. What is detachment? Detachment is not that you don't own anything. You may own a lot of things, but detachment is that nothing owns you, that you are not a victim of anything. Most of us say karna padta hai, in Hindi we say. As soon as you say I have to do, that means you have become a victim. You are not choosing to work, you are not choosing to live life, but somebody is forcing you to live the life that they want you to live. And so we become remote controls of other people's desires, and that's when we start to become dependent. And one of the most important things to differentiate is between the wants and the needs. And if we are able to differentiate and see how my needs are not dependent on my wants, it's actually a manifestation, sometimes a wrong attempt. People want sympathy. They want people should come and try to understand them. But what people want is empathy, somebody who can actually come and help them. People want riches, but what people actually need is fulfillment. And they think the method by which they will feel fulfilled in life is through riches. This is from a book, Leadership for an Age of Higher Consciousness by Bhaktitirtha Swami, an Afro-Asian Swami. He wrote this book. People want fame, they want to be famous, but actually the need is simple of appreciation. And if in your organization or in your culture, if you spread the culture of appreciation, people will not fight for being famous because their need is fulfilled. People want power, but their actual need is that of support and opportunity, because they think that only if I become powerful, I'll get opportunities. But if you provide opportunities in spite of somebody not having the power, they won't go for it. People want domination, but what they actually want is protection. Same reason they become so insecure, and that makes them so dependent. People want prestige, but actually what they need is recognition and acceptance. People want freedom, but because they are not guided properly, they are not being facilitated properly, they think if I break out of this organization or this kind of culture, I'll be free. People want intoxication, they want to drink and forget themselves. What they want is altered awareness, they want to go to another level of awareness, and the methods that are used are wrong, the wants may be wrong, but the needs are all genuine. And we are able to differentiate and try to facilitate people's needs. That's when we can actually make people independently thoughtful. Else what happens is, today the youth that is coming out are cognitively rigid, they can't think different, and risk adverse. They don't want to take any kind of risks in their life. But an independent person can actually take risks because he is confident that his needs are not based on that. And the fourth, the last pillar for dharma, which can actually give us a wholesome life, is purity. Now, purity has been also emphasized by Narendra Modi ji, our respectful Prime Minister, with the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, that how we have to make India clean. And we say, we support you, but also along with Swachh Bharat, we need a Swachh Bharatiya. Because if Bharatiya is not Swachha, again he will make the India dirty. So along with Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, we need a Swachh Bharatiya Abhiyan. And purity of the environment, purity of the mind, purity of the body. And one of the key aspects which the Gita speaks about purity of consciousness is purity is very much linked with loyalty. If you are not loyal in your relationship with your partner, then that kind of disloyalty actually creates a very impure consciousness, and that's how everything else becomes impure. So this is the fourth dharma of purity, having pure thoughts, and it is connected to loyalty. Therefore, they say after marriage, why does the wife wear a red dot? Because it says the recording is now on. Be careful. And once in a shopping mall, a man went and met a beautiful lady and said, "Can you talk to me?" She said, "Who are you? Why should I talk to you?" Said, "My wife is missing somewhere in the shopping mall. I am not able to find her. And my observation is that whenever I speak to a beautiful lady, she pops up. So kindly speak to me so that she can come. I don't have to search." But this is maybe a very noble reason for talking to someone. But this being impure in our thoughts, we see all the episodes in India that have happened, the atrocities that have happened, is because of lack of that loyalty. And without that loyalty, then the purity doesn't arise. And when somebody aspires for these four pillars of dharma, four pillars of life, then his life actually is very solid, very stable. And these are the four pillars, which I call as ship: sensitivity, honesty, independency, and purity. And education system or any culture is supposed to impart these four attributes to every human being. Then that person is considered as a manushya. And the last but not the least point which I want to leave you with is the chain. I have got this chain, and this chain, if you compare with this to your organization or people whom you are leading, if you want to move this chain, there are two ways. I can either try to push this chain. If I push this chain, what happens? The chain only goes closer, right? If I push, the chain comes closer. So same way, when you push people, they don't actually move ahead, they actually close themselves. But there is another way to push this chain, that is to pull. If I pull, if I am ahead, then what happens? The whole chain follows me. So therefore, a boss says, "Go and do the work," and a leader says, "Let's go and do the work." It's a small difference, but one is inspiring by his own example, another is actually trying to push others. And when we try to push ourselves instead of being inspired by a higher ideal, higher principle, then that pushed up life is a dragged life. So therefore, all of us in this chain have to be pulled by we have to follow some higher principles, and when we follow some higher principles, being inspired by something, that's when we actually grow. If we don't follow some higher principles in our life, if we just live a vagabond life, then there is no personal development that is there. And one who follows well can actually lead well. So a leader is actually a follower, and a follower becomes a leader. So it's a cyclic thing, it's a chain reaction that happens, and leadership is a social responsibility. So therefore, what I spoke today of the 4 principles, don't think that okay, I'll go and try to push these 4 principles on my subordinates, whoever I am. It's not going to happen by pushing, but actually by yourself following it, because there is no better example than actually trying to live yourself these principles, and then you will see that life that is imbalanced will start to balance. That life that is not grounded and you are getting so much affected by the negativity, you are hating the work, you are hating all the things that are not right in your life, you start to let go of all those things, and you will say let go and let's go. And this is a small message that I wanted to give you. And in summary, the future of leadership lies, the key is in grounding, able to dissipate all the negative energy by connecting to our ground reality, our source, and also in balancing activity with stillness, personal life with social life, and trying to harmonize these 4 pillars of dharma, being sensitive about others but also being independent, being honest, and also trying to seek a pure life, a higher destination life. And progress comes from both following and leading, and if you are able to do these 3 things in essence, as all the proofs in the Vedic literatures are there, all the big leaders that have seen their life will also lead a very wholesome and sustainable life. Thank you very much.